In 2023, we are blessed to have unlimited amounts of pistols that are very good options for not only concealed carry, but for duty use, and some that are good for both. But if you're new to concealed carry or this is your first pistol, it can be very overwhelming to find the right choice for you and your situation. So today we're gonna break it down into 3 different categories and give you the pros and cons of each category so that when you go to look for your first pistol or a new concealed carry pistol, you can make a better choice for you and your situation. All right guys, so today we're gonna break these handguns down into 3 different categories, from pocket size to mid-size to full-size pistols. All are very good and have different purposes and are different places in the market that they fit well in, and some fit well for multiple people, but they all have their pluses and minuses. So we're gonna start with the full-size pistol. This here is actually a Springfield Echelon. So this is a 4.5-inch barrel, holds 21 rounds. I mean, it's a full duty size pistol. With that said, there are people that concealed carry this pistol. I'm personally not one of them. As you can see, just the overall size of it is on the big side. However, it shoots very well. So before we go too much farther in this video, nothing we say here is absolute, because we sell inside the waistband holsters for these Echelons all the time and guys appendix carrying them all the time. It's just not always right for everybody. So when we give you the pros and cons to each of these, just kind of take it with a grain of salt as a general rule of thumb. As in anything, not one size fits all for everybody, and there's different circumstances. So in general speaking, on a full-size pistol, these excel in shooting. They're more shootable, they're more pleasant to shoot, less recoil, just because of the length of the barrel. The weight of them is generally a little bit more. They have more round capacity, so they're more fit for duty guns. And they, generally speaking, have a way longer grip on it, which gives you a full purchase plus some on the pistol. I mean, there's room to grab this pistol and purchase on it well with room to spare. So with all that done, they're very shootable guns. The longer the barrel, the more accurate they tend to be to a certain point. With modern technology nowadays, a 4-inch barrel to me will shoot every bit as good as a 5-inch barrel in normal people's hands. And like I said, that's an exception as well, because if you just put a handgun in a vise, that's different than a normal person shooting a handgun. A handgun is one of the hardest guns to shoot. It's way harder to shoot than a rifle and be proficient with. So just take that with a grain of salt as well. So for a full-size gun, I would say personally for me, it would be anything like a 4-inch barrel, like this is a Walther PDP, which is a great gun, one of my favorite pistols. Anything with a 4-inch barrel and bigger, and a double stack gun. Like you can see, both of these are double stack. So this one holds a 15 rounds and it comes with bigger mags, and this one's 21. But they're both, as you can see, big guns on the spectrum of things. So in my opinion, these guns are well suited for home defense, training. A Walther PDP, I can personally concealed carry and pull off. So for my personal preference, I can carry a full-size gun, but it has to be on the smaller spectrum of the full size, which is what I'd consider like the 4-inch. But even that's not for everybody. They're definitely still wider than the other guns we're gonna look at in these other categories. So the main thing, shootability is way better. Concealability gets harder for most people in this category. All right, the next category we're gonna go over is what I would consider the mid-size category. So this would include some of the compact double stacked 9mm out there. You know, there's a lot of guns with 3.3 to 4-inch barrels in that range that are double stacked that I would consider in this realm as well. But it also includes like the Glock 43, like what we see here, which is a way thinner. If you look at it compared to the others we just looked at, it's a way thinner pistol, and people tend to find it easier to conceal just because it's not as bulky in their pants. And with these mags, like you can run a shield mag in these Glock 43s and still have 15 rounds. So it just kind of is sizing itself down. These guns do still allow you can see both of these are about the same. This is a Ruger Security 380, which is a great double stack 380 gun, and it has some features that we'll talk about here in a minute that lends itself to some individuals as well. But they are still big enough to get a full purchase on the pistol, but they're gonna be lighter and just not quite as big and bulky as the full-size guns. So that's why I kind of stack all these in quote-unquote mid-size pistol, which is the most common and most popular category right now for concealed carry and all around. Because if you buy a mid-size gun, you can concealed carry it, but it's still more than adequate for home defense. It's kind of more of a multi-purpose tool for most people. So going back to this Ruger, one of the things I like to always bring up when choosing a concealed carry handgun, it doesn't matter which category we're in, we're gonna talk about it right now because we're on the Ruger, is anybody with low hand strength, whether that means women, elderly, arthritis in your hands, anything along those lines. There's no stipulation to it, or just you don't have a lot of hand strength for whatever reason. It doesn't matter. You have to have a pistol you can manipulate. If you have a pistol that you cannot manipulate, it's gonna do you zero good, no matter how proficient you are shooting it. If it comes to having to reload or clear a failure or something, you have to be able to manipulate the gun. So on this Ruger Security 380, they consider it a light rack. So if you watch, the slide just racks super easy. It takes hardly any strength to pull it back and manipulate the pistol. So it's definitely a highlight that I want to reiterate in this video. If you're looking for your first concealed carry pistol, doesn't matter who you are, make sure you can manipulate that pistol. If you have any trouble in the gun store trying to manipulate it, or if it's hard at all, definitely consider that, because in a stressful situation, it's going to get even harder. But this Ruger Security 380 is a great option in that. While we're talking about mid-size guns and 380s and concealed carry, as this video is really about concealed carry, I really prefer a 9mm if you can get there. However, a 380 is more than adequate. So if a 380 is what feels good in your hands and what you can manipulate and work, by all means, go to a 380. But in general speaking, if you can move up to a 9, I would highly suggest it. All right, the last category we're going to talk about here is pocket-sized pistols. And I kind of lump all these into, Ruger LCPs, which is what we have here. And as you can see against my hand, the size of it, there's a lot of guns in this category. Ruger LCP, Smith & Wesson Bodyguard, just a lot of different small micro 9s, Kimber Micro 380, the list just goes on and on. But these pocket-sized pistols are great for concealed carry. So when you go from a pocket-sized pistol, concealability is at an all-time high, whereas on a full-size, concealability gets way higher. But the shootability aspect goes the complete opposite. So whereas the full-size pistol is way shootable, you're gonna have way less issues shooting with it, training with it, it's more enjoyable to shoot. These are the complete and utter opposite. So for somebody new to shooting or concealed carry, these pocket-sized pistols are very hard to learn fundamentals and mechanics with, and they're just overall hard to shoot. Even with somebody that shoots all the time, they can be difficult to shoot and shoot well. And the main reason behind it is just how small they are. They're really snappy, and that's because if you look at this, the way this is shaped here, you cannot get a very high grip on the pistol anyways, which is gonna make it snappier to begin with, but then little to no grip. I mean, I got 1.5 finger on it. It's very, very hard to grip that gun well and get back on target and shoot well. I mean, the fundamentals of shooting are really hard to learn, and this is not a pistol that you're gonna wanna train with. So in concealed carry, the main thing is, especially if this is somebody watching that this is their first pistol, and for concealed carry, if you're not gonna train with it, do not carry it. You want to be as proficient with that pistol as possible, and that's gonna take shooting it and going to the range and feeling comfortable with it. You don't want just a pistol to go, oh, well, I have it if God forbid I ever need to shoot it, because the reality of that situation is if you never go shoot this pistol and try to use it to defend yourself, it's probably gonna be useless to you because you're not gonna be able to shoot it well and you're not gonna hit what you're wanting to hit to begin with. So no matter what size pistol you get training, shoot that pistol. And the other thing about that is, I don't care, in this video, we're not talking brand specific on anything. There's a lot of good brands out there, but with any brand, there's good and bad out of all of them. I personally do not trust a concealed carry pistol. I don't care what it is. It could be the most reputable brand out there until I've shot 500 rounds through it and not had a problem. Just because in this line of work and shooting guns as much as we do, there's good and bad of everything. Like the Canik MC9 is a prime example, not to get into a brand debate here, but just a kind of a example of what I'm talking about. I've had an MC9 I've shot 3,500 rounds through and counting, probably more than that now, and it's been 100% reliable. I'd trust that gun with everything. But if you look up Canik MC9, there's pages and pages and pages of people that had nothing but problems with it and still continue to have problems with it. So there's good and bad in everything. Don't take that, well, I bought a Glock, so it's gonna be reliable, I never need to shoot it. Okay, well, even if it is reliable, you still need to be proficient with it, and every gun shoots different. So that's the main thing on any of these size categories, but especially on these pocket-sized pistols, you have to be prepared to shoot it enough to be proficient with it, and most people just aren't gonna enjoy shooting it enough to be proficient with it. All right, so to recap all these different categories, you got your full-size pistols, you got your mid-size, and you got what I consider pocket carry. The pros of the pocket carry are it's super concealable, but that's kind of where the pros end on it. They're not gonna be very shootable. You're gonna be able to conceal them anywhere you want to, but they're not gonna be, they're a me to you, I mean, 5 foot, get yourself out of a bad situation pistol, but even then you gotta be proficient with it, and they're just hard to get fundamentals down. I really strongly encourage people not to go to a pocket-sized pistol unless they just absolutely have to for whatever reason. There's enough mid-size micro 9 category pistols out there that can bridge that gap for you a lot better and put you in a way better situation. So on the mid-size pistols, like we talked about, or the compact type pistols, they're just overall kind of the most popular thing going. And it's just because it's kind of a in-between. You get enough to get a full purchase on it so you can control the pistol. You can use your good shooter fundamentals. They shoot better, less recoil, just a lot of pluses to these. Yes, they're not quite as concealable as a pocket-size pistol, but with the right holster, you put any of these mid-size pistols in a inside the waist Kydex holster with a claw on it, you're gonna be able to conceal it anyways. It just comes down to clothing and different things, body shape, where and how you conceal it, but they're very concealable. So I would say 95% of people that we talk to and that call and want advice on things, I would steer 95% of them to a mid-size all-around gun, because it's big enough to use as home defense if you want to, but small enough to concealed carry, yet shoot well. And this is a gun that you can train with, and you don't go to the range and shoot 50 rounds through it and be like, I can't shoot it no more because it hurts my hand or whatever. It's just straight not fun to shoot. This is a gun you can actually train with, which, like we said, is the biggest thing to concealed carry. No matter what gun you got, training is paramount. On to the full-size pistols. I personally don't conceal carry a full-size pistol. I have a lot of full-size pistols and I love them. They shoot great. To me, they're just a little much to conceal most of the time. In the winter, it gets way easier, but in the summer and shorts and t-shirts, I just like to carry the same gun all the time. So I'm not one of those guys that likes to switch from, oh, I carry a Glock 43 in the summer and then carry a Springfield Echelon in the winter, just because I like to shoot and train with what I carry most of the time. In general, I shoot other guns, but I want most of my training to be with what I'm carrying all the time, and I'm just not a big fan of changing back and forth. I just like to get my fundamentals down and just, muscle memory and be able to run that pistol without even thinking about it. And the best way to do that is by keeping the same pistol all the time, whatever you carry, and just running it that way. But the full-size guns are great for shooting, great for duty, great for home defense, just lack a little bit of concealability. But with that said, I also urge people to carry as big a gun as they can personally get by with concealing, just because the bigger the gun, don't matter which side of the spectrum it's on, the bigger the gun, the better you're gonna be able to shoot it, generally speaking, and that's kind of true across the board. That doesn't mean you need to carry the biggest gun, but carry the biggest gun that you can pull off carrying, because it's just gonna be a way more shootable pistol in general. So if you have any comments or questions, definitely leave them below. We'll get into another video probably next week on holster choice and different things that go along with picking the right gun. But today we really just wanted to go over the sizes of guns and pros and cons to picking that size category. This isn't a brand debate. Brand can be on you. There's a ton of good guns out there. I just strongly encourage you to go and not carry what the guy at the gun shop or what I tell you to carry or what I carry or what your buddy carries. Carry what is comfortable for you, and it'll put you in a way better situation to train with it and for you to personally feel comfortable with it. So until next time, keep practicing and always be prepared.